Good morning, traders. I am Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Monday, September 16th. It's Fed Week. As investors await the latest announcement on monetary policy coming later this week, markets are attempting to keep the green streak going today. On Friday, all three major indices closed in the green. The Dow gained nearly 300 points, or about 0.75%. The S&P 500 picked up 30 points, or more than 0.5%. The Nasdaq advanced 114 points, or 0.65%. Bill, let's get into a new week with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes. Good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're actually trading slightly lower. We're down about 0.1%, 0.09% this morning. Okay, that doesn't really concern me. I mean, this is a big week. We got a host of central bank meetings this week. We got, of course, the Fed's coming out on Wednesday with their announcement. You got one from the Bank of England. You got one from the Bank of Japan, and there are others as well. So, the markets are definitely expecting a dovish narrative from the Fed on Wednesday. 50 basis points. 25 basis points. We'll have to wait and see. I kind of lean towards the 25 basis point cut only because they're doing a cut and it's prior to an election. So typically the Fed doesn't do any changes to monetary policy ahead of an election, which is why I'm in the 25 basis point cut camp. What else do we have going on now? Microsoft, their CEO speaking today at 11. Apparently there's going to be a Copilot announcement. Salesforce.com, Dreamforce begins tomorrow. What else do I see? TikTok. There's a federal appeals court that's going to consider whether U.S. government has the right to force TikTok to sever ties with China. That's kind of interesting. But there's not a whole lot of news taking place because everybody's kind of waiting for this Fed announcement. But, let's take a look at overseas action. I mean, markets are kind of light. The DAX is down. DAX is down 32 points, or 0.17% this morning. Auto shares, dipping a little bit. London's flat to higher. It's up 2 points, or 0.03%. Some weakness in the insurance sector. A big insurance company came out with some guidance that wasn't particularly liked by the street. In France, we're seeing some gains in the luxury sector. Their index is up 0.02%. I mean, they're really, really muted gains going on. And then, of course, we took a look last night in Asia. In Asia, the Nikkei in Japan was closed for a holiday. China, Shanghai was closed for a holiday, and other exchanges were closed. But the only one that was open was the Hang Seng in Hong Kong. Consumer stocks and tech stocks did move a little higher. There is talk of the PBOC maybe delivering a stimulus package as possible as soon as maybe Friday. You look at the Hang Seng, it gained 53 points, or 0.31%. So, that is positive. We're keeping an eye on oil this morning, and we are showing gains in oil. WTI is up 71 cents to $69.36 a barrel. That's over 1%. Brent is trading up 61 cents to $72.22. That's positive. I'm not surprised that we're seeing a little bit of bullishness in oil because, we did have that hurricane last week, and the refinery activities are back online in the Gulf Coast, which is positive. But, we haven't really seen the numerical issues related to the hurricane yet. That recent closure is going to be on full display when the stockpiles data comes out Tuesday and Wednesday. So, I know that the summer driving season has ended. So that's bearish for oil prices. But that closure last week is probably bullish. And I think that's going to cause oil prices to edge higher on Tuesday and Wednesday. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, as we hear from you, it's a big week in terms of central banks and decisions on upcoming monetary policy. And in just a moment, we will get to economic events. Before we turn there, it might be a big week for economic events, but slow on the earnings front, but we'll still make sure to note what's worth watching. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings?
This week we got earnings reports coming out from Lennar, the home builder, FedEx, Darden Restaurants, FactSet, Cracker Barrel's coming out, Steelcase, General Mills. They're all releasing. But today, there's nothing. There's nothing today. There's nothing this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, you got Ferguson. That's really a London firm, FERG, Frank Edward Richard Grace. Their EPS is $2.89. Expected move is 6.63%. I'm nothing that I can really speak of that's really, drawn my attention. But there will be some later this week. But that's all I have for you in terms of an earnings update, Emily.
And we will follow those earnings throughout the week. So each morning, check in with NewsWare's Trade Talk on what earnings to keep track of. Now we're going to get to economic events. Again, starting slow today, but picking up throughout the week. So what is going on in terms of economic events?
There's one report that I'll pay attention to at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time is the Empire State Manufacturing Index. It's a good report. I mean, but it's the only one today. I don't expect it to really move the needle too much on the markets because everybody's kind of waiting on the Fed on Wednesday. But that's all I have for you in terms of an economic update, Emily.
And the other thing you're keeping track of this morning and throughout the week, as you do each week, are other market-moving headlines, data, and information coming out of different sectors and segments. You're following things like merger news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You're looking at stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see as possibly moving the markets today?
Just looking at my Dow stocks, I got 24 higher, 4 lower, and 1 unchanged. Yeah, that's kind of bullish. And then you look at your FANG stocks. Apple's off, but Meta, Google, Netflix are trading higher. Tesla's trading off just slightly. If it was, so I mean, we could see a positive opening. I don't think we're going to see a huge gain today, but you never know. I mean, something could happen that could be a catalyst. We're looking for some of the news behind stocks like Apple. Those iPhone 16, the first weekend pre-order analysis. They totaled about 37 million units for the Pro Series demand, which is lower than expected, which, that's hurting Apple. Amazon, this is Amazon, Walmart, Amazon, India's antitrust regulator found that Amazon and Walmart's Flipkart violated local competition laws by giving selected preferences to sellers. And, that's kind of negative for them. Tesla, after those layoffs, Tesla's supercharging expansion seems to have slowed. It's kind of negative for the stock. We're talking about Dow Jones 30 stocks. We're talking, I said earlier, Salesforce at Dreamforce conference starts tomorrow, ticker CRM, Disney, ticker DIS, DirecTV and Disney reached an agreement to restore programming, to the DirecTV users. Boeing, a major broker came out and said, hey, I see that they see the news flow in Boeing turning positive once this labor deal is reached. The labor deal is going to be reached. Now, these guys have a huge backlog of orders that are going to be filled. Everybody likes a new CEO who is focused on, the production of these planes and getting them, off from, being built and sold and paid for. That's going to be, Boeing's got some nice opportunity in the future as long as they can get these planes started. They got to get this union deal worked out, and they got to start delivering planes, and they got to start delivering more than 50 a month. And I think they can do that. So once that starts to happen, Boeing's going to start taking off. What else? Microsoft Copilot announcement today at 11 a.m. CEO is going to be speaking. Intel qualified for up to $3.5 billion in federal grants to make advanced chips for the Pentagon. Interesting. In terms of merger news, Bausch & Lomb, ticker BLCO, Boy Larry, Charlie Oscar, they're said to be working with Goldman to explore sale of the company. SMAR is what I have been watching. I was actually looking at this, quite heavily on Friday morning, because these guys are ripe for a takeout. They've been talking, and the stock rose 2.8% on Friday. But I could see it giving back because no deal was announced over the weekend. But Smartsheet, ticker SMAR, a deal will likely happen, before the end of the year. So it's something to keep an eye on. Sam, Michael, Apple, Richard. But honestly, I'd like to get in under 50 because I think the buyout price isn't going to be much above 50. Let's see, what else do we have? We get shareholders meetings. Well, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, AstraZeneca, Pfizer. They're all going to be presenting at this European Society for Oncology Congress. It's a big conference going on. In terms of buyback news, SSYS, Sam, Yellow Sam, this is Stratus. They announced a 50 million share repurchasing program. That's all I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional NewsWire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick to start this week?
Going with Salesforce.com, ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary. You got Dreamforce starting tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be looking for some weakness here today. I'm expecting some positive announcements to come out of Dreamforce tomorrow morning and later this week. So, if you saw the list of speakers that are going to be talking there, it's very impressive. So I'm looking at Friday's call volume, 20,074 versus put volume at 13,717. That's positive. You're looking at the open interest, 239K versus 233K. Yep, positive again. Major brokers love the stock. You're seeing price targets around $300 level, some 290, some 330. But around 300 level. Listen, if I want to get into Salesforce, I want to get into low 254s. 254. 25, 254.50 maybe, but that, not much higher than that. But I do think we could see some gains in Salesforce this morning, ticker CRM, is that Dreamforce could really come out with some positive announcements for the stock tomorrow morning, Emily.
Bill, Salesforce it is. We will follow that along with you, and you'll be gathering any of those announcements or positive news coming out of Dreamforce using your NewsWare. Coming up, we will do a recap on Friday's pick of the day to see how that went, so don't go anywhere. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
CMG Chipotle says avocados being tested in restaurants for the first time. That's what the heck is avocado? Oh, it's a avocado processing probiotic prototype. GCI, Grace Charlie India, Gannett announced a multi-year strategic partnership with MGM Resorts. APO Apollo to pay BP $1 billion to buy stake in TAP Gas Link unit. CME FedWatch shows a 67% chance probability on a 50 basis point cut, 37% for a 25 basis point cut. I still like the 25. Southwest Airlines says labor contract ratified for flight simulated technicians. Let's see what else. Charles Schwab down there on watch. They're going to be releasing their August monthly activity data today. Novartis and NVS trial data indicates one of the drugs reduces the risk of breast cancer recurrence by a third. That's positive. Massimo, ticker MASI, and Michael Applesamp India, they're working with Qualcomm on next generation smartwatch. Ticker Outdoors, ticker DECK, David Edward Charlie Kilo, they recently announced a 6-for-1 stock split. Stock's going to be trading on the split adjusted basis tomorrow, DECK. Target's interesting. They announced their largest holiday assortment with holiday deals starting October 6th. Now, the back-to-school sales are always a good indicator in terms of how the Christmas sales are going. Now, if you remember, the back-to-school sales started early July. And so for them to start Christmas season sales in October, it doesn't really surprise me. But they're going to be offering their largest assortment of holiday deals ever. Wow, that could be something. Boeing strike enters fourth day as fresh talks loom. The fresh labor talks are going to start on Tuesday. Okay, that's interesting. AMD and Intel lost out on a contract to design and fabricate the Sony PlayStation 6 chip in 2022. It was a blow to those two firms, no doubt. We went with Taiwan Semiconductor. Archer Daniels Midland, ticker ADM. The EPA has found that the company violated safe drinking water rules in its underground injection permit with a leak at the first major U.S. Underground carbon sequestration facility in Illinois. Eli Lilly, FDA on Friday, they approved their eczema drug for use in adults and children 12 years and older. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we kick off another trading week, get to trading on this Monday, let's do that check in on Friday's pick of the day, which was Apple. Bill, you made this pick following that earbud news that they may be considered as hearing aids. You were looking at a specific entry price here around $220.50, give or take 50 cents. How did your call work out?
I mean, it was flat. I mean, the stock opened up at 223.58. So, that was just too high for me. But then it did fall. It fell down to 221.91, just under 222. So it was below my 222.50 price. But then, where did it close? 222.50. That was a fair price for it. But, stock's trading up, but it was a flat trade on Friday. Didn't make money, didn't lose money. It was just flat. So, there's just not a lot happening. There's not a lot of choices out there, so you got to go with the flow. And Apple looked good in the morning, but it never really got into gear off of that news, Emily.
We'll take flat over a loss, but still looking for opportunity here today with that Salesforce pick of the day. So we will check in with you tomorrow about that pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning this week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.